She was born in a world where women were silenced, erased from the pages of power. But Razia Sultana carved her name into history with fire and steel. She wasn't supposed to rule. She wasn't even supposed to speak. And yet she wore the crown, led armies, and ruled with justice until betrayal stole it all. This is the story of Razia Sultana, the Warrior Empress of Delhi. Razia was born in 1205 to Sultan Shamsuddin Iltutmish, a former slave who had risen to become the ruler of the Delhi Sultanate. He was powerful, sharp, but more than anything, he was observant. He saw that his sons were weak, spoiled, and entitled. But his daughter? Razia had the mind of a strategist, the courage of a warrior, and the soul of a leader. While other princesses were taught embroidery, Razia learned the Quran, Persian, Arabic, statecraft, and warfare. She trained with the sword, debated with scholars, and sat in courtrooms. Iltutmish, against all norms, declared, "My daughter Razia is the most worthy of my children. She shall inherit my throne." It was a revolutionary statement. The nobles were stunned. A woman on the throne of Delhi? Unheard of. After Iltutmish's death in 1236, the nobles ignored his will. They placed Ruknuddin Feroz, Razia's brother, on the throne, a man known more for poetry than politics. While the empire crumbled under his misrule, Razia watched in silence, until silence became dangerous. When her mother was publicly insulted by Rukun's court, Razia did something no royal woman had done before. She appeared before the public in the main mosque, unveiled, bold, and furious. She demanded justice. The people listened. An uprising followed. Ruknuddin and his scheming mother were executed, and Razia was crowned, the first Muslim woman to rule Delhi. But the crown was heavy, and the daggers were already pointed. Razia ruled not as a queen, but as a sultan. She wore the turban of kings, led armies into battle, and passed laws that brought justice to her people, regardless of class, gender, or background. She built schools, appointed scholars and poets, and protected merchants and peasants alike. The people loved her. The nobles feared her. Her most controversial decision came when she promoted Jamaluddin Yaqut, an Abyssinian slave, to the position of commander of the royal cavalry. He was loyal, brave, and trusted. But for the Turkic nobles, this was a humiliation. A woman in power was bad enough. A woman giving power to a former slave? Unforgivable. They whispered, they plotted, they accused her of having an affair with Yaqut, a rumor never proven, but deeply damaging. And as rumors grew, rebellion rose. Razia's own cousin and former ally, Muizuddin Behram Shah, led a rebellion backed by bitter nobles. In the battle that followed, Yaqut was ambushed and killed. Razia was captured and imprisoned in a distant fortress. Stripped of her crown, stripped of her voice, Razia's fate should have ended there. But warriors like her don't fade quietly. She escaped. With help from loyal forces, she raised another army, recaptured some power, and prepared for a comeback. But she had lost more than a kingdom. She had lost time, trust, and her strongest ally. In 1240, Razia fought her final battle near Kaithal in modern-day Haryana. Her army was defeated. She and her new husband, a former rebel-turned-ally, Malik Altunia, were killed by local forces, abandoned by the people she once ruled. Razia Sultana was buried in a quiet, unmarked grave in Old Delhi. No monument, no crown, no royal farewell, just silence. But Razia's story never ended with her death, because stories like hers, of courage, resistance, and rising against every odd, they live forever. She wasn't just a queen. She was a revolution in flesh and blood, a woman who ruled when the world said she couldn't, a leader who fought till her last breath. And even in her fall, Razia Sultana became immortal. For more stories that time tried to forget, like, comment, and subscribe to Vintage Veins, where history lives again.